About 700 different species of birds can be found in New Guinea. You could say that it's a paradise for birds, but that doesn't mean that every single bird that lives on the island is considered to be a part of the paradise. Only the species that are collectively referred to as birds of paradise are revered as holy and heavenly because they are thought to have originated from a place beyond Earth. In this video, we are going to investigate the symbolism of birds of paradise. Specifically, we are going to look at what these birds signify in the native tradition of New Guinea, what they have come to represent in Europe, and the strong connections they have to the mythology of Arabia. But before we start, please share the love and subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell so you're the first one to our new videos. The basics of the paradise bird. There are over 40 different bird species that are collectively referred to as birds of paradise. The fact that they are originally from New Guinea, which is the largest island in both Oceania and the Pacific Ocean, is something that they all have in common. The indigenous peoples of this island have maintained a long-standing and close relationship with these birds over the course of several millennia. Let's take a look at the birds themselves before we delve any further into that topic. The males of most species of birds of paradise have extremely distinctive plumage, which includes a variety of brilliant colors and gives off the impression that it is shimmering. Juvenile males, on the other hand, look a lot like females. They have feathers that are dull gray or brown, and they lack the spectacular coloration of the adult males. As the bird develops into an adult, it begins to produce more pigments, which begin coloring the feathers and begin the process of building its magnificent plumage. During the courtship process, males will use their attractiveness to perform a mating dance in the hopes of attracting potential mates. There are 3 components that make up the mating dance, and they are color, sound, and movement. However, once they reach puberty, mature birds of paradise are unable to entice females to mate with them. The first thing that they have to do is figure out how to flawlessly incorporate all 3 components into a single dance routine that will make women feel enamored. Male birds are unable to produce offspring until they have mastered the art of using their plumage to attract mates and produce offspring. Some species of birds of paradise are monogamous, but the vast majority of bird of paradise species engage in polygamy. The most intriguing fact is that only polygamous species have developed incredible plumages, while males of monogamous species have the appearance of females. Symbolism in New Guinea. It is believed by the people of New Guinea that birds of paradise originate from a sacred realm and are the ones who are responsible for the creation of the world in which humans live. Gillian Gillison, an anthropologist, spent over a decade studying the tribes of New Guinea, spending the majority of that time living among the members of those tribes. She made a recording of a member of the tribe expressing a belief that is held by a significant number of the island's indigenous people. The people of my family are birds of paradise. This proverb is explained by a widespread myth that is told by many of the New Guinean tribes. According to the story, an emotionally distraught young girl hid the body of her recently deceased brother inside the hollow of a tree. As she smacked the trunk of the tree with her fist, tears trickled down her cheeks and a flock of birds flew out. Some of the birds flew upwards like smoke, representing the dreary species that inhabit the island's highlands, while others flew downwards like fire, symbolizing the vibrant species that inhabit the island's lowlands. People in New Guinea believe that birds of paradise are the spirit of life because they personify everything that is right with the world. This belief is analogous to the concept of the Holy Ghost in the Christian religion. The indigenous people of New Guinea hold the birds of paradise in high regard and regard them as sacred birds that descended from on high, from the realm of paradisiacal spirits. Feathers of birds of paradise. A great deal of the traditional clothing worn in New Guinea was decorated with the feathers, tails, and skins of various species of birds of paradise. When one dons such an item as, for instance, a headdress, they are transported back in time to the paradisiacal state in which our world once existed. Native people of New Guinea use the same word to describe their battle dance as they do when referring to the mating ritual of birds of paradise. This word is kakalel. A successful raid or victory in battle is cause for the indigenous people to celebrate with a ritual called the Dance of War. A theatrical dance depicting the men's victory would be performed by them while they were dressed in warrior garb, which was frequently embellished with the colorful feathers of various birds. On the field of battle, many warriors of a certain tribe have the superstition that if they bring a piece of a bird with them, they will be protected by the birds. Because birds of paradise are thought of as sacred ancestors, the warriors believe that the strength and power of the divine can be seen in the feathers of birds of paradise, which gives them an advantage in the battle. Due to the intensely sexual nature of the mating dance performed by these birds, the feathers also represent fertility in this culture. As a form of bride price, clothing, particularly headdresses embellished with the varied colors of the bird's feathers, would be given to the bride. It was believed that doing so would help to evoke the bride's fertile nature. There is another ceremony in which young women will dance while holding hands with one another to create a circle. After that, the senior women of the tribe would join the younger women in the dance and give them trophy heads that had been decorated with feathers from birds of paradise. The ritual would become more intense, and the participants, particularly the women, would begin yelling, shouting, and screaming in order to enter a trance state that would manifest fertility. Bird of paradise symbolism in Europe. Although they are not native to Europe, birds of paradise play a significant role in the cultural symbolism of the continent. The first time that these birds were seen by Europeans was in the 16th century, when the Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan brought back the skins of these creatures to Europe. Since it was the most valuable commodity, the chiefs of Malay tribes presented them as gifts to the kings of the Western world. The fact that the bird skins were missing the bird's feet and wings, both of which had been trimmed, led Europeans to believe that these birds originated in a spiritual realm above Earth. It was believed that these birds were carried by the wind and never landed on the ground. Since they would never land, it was assumed that they did not require wings or feet. Even the scientific name of one of the birds of paradise, which is called Paradisea apoda, and whose species name literally translates to without feet in Latin, was influenced by it. Antonio Pigafetta, originally from Venice, was yet another European who led expeditions to the Spice Islands. Pigafetta traveled to New Guinea and came face to face with birds of paradise during his time there. It was written here. The locals informed us that those birds originated from the terrestrial paradise, and they refer to them as Bolan Duata, which literally translates to birds of God. The connection to paradise spread rapidly throughout Europe, where it quickly became common practice to refer to the birds by various iterations of the term birds of paradise. For instance, the Portuguese referred to them as passaros de col, which literally translates to birds of the sun. Bird of paradise symbolism in Christianity. It was believed that these birds lived in the heavenly realm and could only come down to earth after passing away. Consequently, some Christian preachers decided to use this legend in their sermons. The birds were compared by the priests to Adam and Eve, the first humans and the first sinners who were expelled from the Garden of Eden because they ate the forbidden fruit of knowledge. Adam and Eve are considered to be the first humans. The symbolic meaning of birds of paradise feathers in Europe. In Europe, the skins and feathers of these birds have maintained their status as extremely rare and valuable relics for hundreds of years. The majority of travelers and merchants who ventured as far as New Guinea did so in pursuit of the region's spices rather than its bird trimmings. As a result, birds of paradise came to represent things like uniqueness, beauty, and exclusivity. In Europe, items that were decorated with feathers from birds of paradise commanded an extremely high price. Due to their scarcity, only the wealthiest members of the aristocracy were able to purchase such items. As a direct consequence of this, it came to be associated with wealth and status. The situation regarding the scarcity of resources evolved gradually. Many members of indigenous Malay tribes began the practice of hunting birds of paradise in large numbers in order to obtain their skins and feathers. The newly introduced firearms brought by Europeans, specifically gunpowder guns, made the task significantly simpler. It is estimated that by the beginning of the 20th century, over 80,000 skins of these birds had been imported into Europe, primarily for use in the production of hats and other accessories for women. As a direct consequence of this, accessories crafted from the bird or embellished with its feathers and fur no longer carry the same air of opulent exoticism that they once did. Mythology of the Arab and Persian worlds. There are many legends told about the sacred bird known as huma that can be found in the Middle East and the regions that surround it. According to one theory, the name originates from the Arabic words hu, which means spirit or God, and ma, which means water. It was believed that huma lived in the heavenly realm above the surface of the earth, much like birds of paradise. In fact, in Ottoman poetry, huma is referred to as a bird of paradise, which is a direct translation of the term. In some of the legends that have been passed down, huma is described as having neither feet nor legs, just like the skins of birds of paradise that were brought to Europe. On the other hand, stories about huma date back hundreds or even thousands of years before the first birds of paradise were discovered in Europe. In Sufism, a school of Islamic mysticism, as well as in Persian mythology, it is regarded as one of the most sacred beings of the highest importance. It is said that even catching a glimpse of the huma bird's shadow will bring one good fortune for the rest of their lives. Those who were blessed by the huma bird were destined to become great rulers and leaders in their nations. The huma bird is said to be similar to the phoenix in some legends. It is said that every few hundred years, the huma bird will set itself on fire and burn itself to ashes before rising from the ashes as a new bird, signifying the beginning of a new era. Zoroastrianism, a religion that originated in Iran and promoted halma as a holy beverage, features birds of paradise that are strikingly similar to the ones depicted here. It was created from a divine plant with the same name and brought from the heavenly realm to earth by birds of paradise. This myth may have been inspired by earlier myths involving the huma bird. Final words. Some of the most stunningly beautiful bird species in the world are referred to as birds of paradise. It should come as no surprise that the indigenous peoples of New Guinea came to regard these birds as spiritual ancestors who are associated with the realm of the divine. Share the love and subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell so you're the first one to our new video.